Viewer notice. This video is based on my own independent research using publicly available information, including online sources, reports, and records. I am not law enforcement, and this video is for informational and discussion purposes only. All opinions shared are my own and should not be taken as fact. Details may change as new information becomes available. I encourage everyone watching to do your own research and form your own opinions. Okay, so this is one of those cases that just stays with you because nothing about it makes sense. Let me tell you about Ashley Summers. Ashley Nicole Summers was born on June 16, 1993, and she grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, surrounded by a really big extended family. She was the oldest child, and because of that, she took on a lot of responsibility early on. While her mom, Jennifer Summers, was working, Ashley was often the one watching her younger siblings. Everyone who knew her says she loved making people laugh. She was outgoing, super talkative, always acting silly. She loved scary movies. But at the same time, Ashley had a very strong personality. If she felt something wasn't right, she spoke up. She didn't just let things slide. Her biological father wasn't involved in her life, but she was always surrounded by her mom's side of the family. Aunts, uncles, cousins, a lot of support. But in the months leading up to her 14th birthday, people started noticing a change. Ashley became more withdrawn, more defiant, especially toward her mom and her mom's long-term boyfriend who had helped raise her. Around this time, Ashley started dating an older boy named Gene Gill. He was 16. Because Ashley was often home alone with her younger siblings while her mom worked, she would invite Gene over without telling her mom. Jennifer didn't find out until one of Ashley's younger brothers mentioned it, and as you can imagine, that didn't go over well. Jennifer told Ashley that Gene wasn't allowed to come over anymore, and that just made the tension in the house worse. Then things really escalated when Jennifer discovered Ashley had taken money from her purse and used it to get a tattoo at just 13 years old of her boyfriend's name. That was kind of the breaking point. Trying to calm everything down, Jennifer asked Ashley's grandmother, who lived about 4 miles away, to take Ashley in for the summer. The idea was that some space might help repair their relationship. Ashley agreed. While staying with her grandmother, Ashley spent her days bouncing between relatives' houses while her grandmother worked. Even with all the tension, Ashley still called her mom every single day. In the days leading up to her disappearance, Ashley was staying at her uncle, Kevin Donathan's house. That wasn't unusual. A lot of her cousins hung out there. On July 9th, 2007, Ashley went to a pool party at Kevin's house near the 2100 block of West 96th Street in Cleveland. People there said Ashley seemed quiet and kind of down when she first arrived. But once she got in the pool and started talking to family, her mood changed. She loosened up. She laughed. Nothing seemed off. Ashley left the party early, around 6 o'clock in the evening. Before she left, she hugged her great-uncle Keith and told everyone she was walking to her aunt's house to spend the night. She had all of her belongings with her. But here's something important. Ashley didn't have a working cell phone. Earlier that day, Ashley had gotten into an argument with her uncle Kevin. He overheard her gossiping about family members on her phone, and, in a moment of anger, he smashed it. That may explain why she seemed upset earlier at the party. The walk to her aunt's house wasn't long. Ashley never arrived. At first, her family didn't panic. Ashley was known to stay overnight with relatives, but when Jennifer didn't hear from her for 2 days, she knew something was wrong. She started calling everyone. Kevin said he hadn't seen Ashley since the pool party. Jennifer confirmed she wasn't with her grandmother. She called relatives one by one. No one had seen her. That's when Jennifer reported Ashley missing. Police initially believed Ashley had run away and classified her as an endangered runaway. Her family felt brushed off, so they took matters into their own hands, organizing search parties, putting up flyers all over Cleveland. And this part is strange. Nearly all of the flyers were torn down within a day. Tips started coming in, but they didn't line up. Some people said Ashley disappeared on July 4th. Others said July 9th. At first, police said her last known location was near West 96th Street. Later, the FBI said they believed she was last seen near West 44th Street and Trowbridge Avenue on July 8th. Then, about 4 weeks after Ashley vanished, Jennifer received a call at work from a blocked number. The voice said, "Mom, it's me. I'm okay. Don't worry." Jennifer said it sounded like Ashley, but she couldn't be completely sure. Later that year, on November 17th, 2007, Ashley's grandparents believed they saw her walking along West 44th Street. She had short blonde hair, matching tips they'd received. But by the time they turned the car around, she was gone. Nothing came from it. In 2008, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children got involved. Cleveland police began wondering if Ashley's case could be connected to other disappearances in the area, including Amanda Berry, Gina DeJesus, and Michelle Knight. All three were later found alive in May of 2013 after Amanda escaped captivity from Ariel Castro's home. There were rumors Ashley may have been there too, but no evidence ever confirmed that. Castro was sentenced to life in prison, plus 1,000 years. Just 1 month into his sentence, he took his own life, ending any chance of answers. Ashley's boyfriend, Gene Gill, was out of town at a family reunion when she disappeared. He was interviewed multiple times, his story never changed, and he was never named a suspect. Ashley's family members were also questioned and given polygraph tests, though the results have never been released. Investigators were particularly interested in her uncle, Kevin Donathan. Years later, in December of 2018, Kevin was convicted of rape, attempted rape, and gross sexual imposition involving multiple minors, crimes spanning more than 25 years. He was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Despite this, he has never been officially named a suspect in Ashley's disappearance. In April of 2021, the FBI excavated land near West 43rd Street and Train Avenue based on new tips. Only animal bones were found. Ashley's phone and social media activity stopped the day she disappeared. There have been no confirmed sightings since July 9th, 2007. If you have any information about the disappearance of Ashley Summers, please contact the Cleveland Police Department at 216-623-5005 or the FBI at 216-522-1400. So, let's talk about this case, because it's one of those that just sticks with you. I mean, why would someone execute a young, pregnant mother and also shoot her 14-month-old baby? Brittany Dodson Stykes was the all-American girl. She was the second of 5 children and grew up surrounded by family. She loved country music, loved being around the people she cared about, and she was raised on a farm in the small community of Ripley, Ohio. About 30 minutes east of Cincinnati, nestled along the Ohio River. Brittany loved spending time with her family and working with animals on the farm. Her father remembers her showing goats and chickens at the county fair. She loved riding horses, and she also loved working on cars with her dad. The two of them, along with the rest of the family, frequently attended car shows and drag races together. Brittany even had hopes of building her own custom motorcycle one day. When Brittany was 20 years old, she met her future husband, Shane Stykes, who was 38 at the time. They met at a Subway restaurant where Brittany worked. Shane had been trying to adopt a healthier lifestyle and often stopped in. Not long after meeting, the two found out they were pregnant, and they got married about a year later. Now let's talk about the day Brittany was murdered. August 28th, 2013, started out as a day filled with excitement for Brittany. She began the day by wishing her beloved father a happy birthday and told him she would be over that evening to see him. But first, she and her 14-month-old daughter, Aubrey, headed to her mother-in-law's home a few towns over so Brittany could participate in an online interview. After that, they had dinner, packed up, and started the drive back to Ripley to see her father. During that drive, Brittany was caught on surveillance cameras a few times, once by the Georgetown Police Department and another time passing a McDonald's. Nothing about the footage appeared unusual. Around 7:15 in the evening, Brittany texted her family to let them know she was close. That text would be the last time anyone heard from her. A passerby traveling along Highway 68 noticed headlights shining out from a wooded area. Concerned, he made a U-turn to see if the driver needed help. What he found was absolutely horrifying. Brittany was unresponsive, slumped over the steering wheel. Little Aubrey was in the front seat, crying for her mom, with a bullet wound to her head. Brittany was only a few miles from her parents' home when she was murdered. She was so close that her family could hear the sirens as emergency responders rushed to the scene. Fearing the worst, her father, David Dodson, followed the sound of those sirens, only to have his worst nightmare confirmed. Brittany had been shot 3 times and was pronounced dead at the scene. Aubrey had been shot in the head but was still alive. As for where the case stands today, Brittany's husband, Shane, was looked at immediately. His alibi was that he was at work all day and then went to a gym in Decatur, Ohio. That alibi was substantiated. Gunshot residue tests were negative, and he has passed multiple polygraph tests. Law enforcement has stated that he is not a suspect. In September of 2005, law enforcement raided a house in Falmouth after receiving a tip. An ex-girlfriend came forward claiming that a man had confessed to her about Brittany's murder, and others saying it was retaliation for a debt owed by Shane Stykes. She also claimed he told her he took a trophy photo of Brittany after killing her. County officials brought the case before a grand jury to interview 3 uncooperative witnesses, one of whom was an ex-girlfriend of Shane Stykes. None of those individuals have spoken publicly about the findings. There is currently a $20,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of Brittany's murderer. If you know anything about this case, please contact the Brown County Sheriff's Office at 937-378-4435. You can also contact Crime Stoppers at 888-352-3040, or you can text CINTI followed by your tip to 274637. Lori Lynn was not the kind of person who lived life quietly. She was strong, driven, and confident in who she was, even in spaces where women were often told they did not belong. Lori Lynn grew up as a tomboy, practically raised on tractors and hard work on acres of land in rural Liberty Township, Ohio. From an early age, it was clear Lori was fearless. She was born on April 25, 1957, to her parents Wanda Pullen and Howard Pullen Jr. She was one of 5 children, 4 girls and 1 boy, all raised together on the family property. Lori graduated from Liberty High School in June of 1975. She first worked as a bookkeeper and even considered a career in accounting, attending Youngstown State University. But that path never felt right to her. What truly called to Lori was construction, heavy machinery, long days, and dangerous work that most people said women could not do. Lori proved them wrong. She earned the training needed to operate heavy equipment and went on to work for Operating Engineers Local Union 66. Her job was risky. She dug ditches, graded roads, installed drainage pipes, and sometimes worked around hazardous materials. Coworkers said she needed very little supervision and always knew how to get the job done. Lori was even featured in a newspaper article honoring women who were breaking the glass ceiling, with photos of her operating heavy machinery. To her family, Lori was so much more than her job. Her daughter Samantha later wrote that her mom was a rare breed, tough, honest, and loving. She was the backbone of their family, the glue that held everyone together. Lori married Timothy Lynn in 1976. Together they built a home on the family farm and later had 2 daughters, Corrine, who goes by Corey, and Samantha. After 25 years of marriage, Lori and Tim divorced in 2001, but they remained on good terms. Tim continued living next door to Wanda on the family property. Lori later moved to Ravenna and continued working in construction. She spent about 15 years with a highway construction company before working for Northern Ohio Paving. During that time, she met her fiancé, Mark Schoonover. Lori was happy. Her daughters remember the joy on her face when she showed them her engagement ring. Retirement had finally arrived, something she worked her entire life for. But Lori would only live to enjoy 1 year of it. In September of 2016, Lori's father, Howard Pullen Jr., passed away from a heart attack. His assets were left to Wanda. Over time, concerns grew within the family that Lori's brother, Howard Pullen III, known as Chip, was mishandling money tied to the rental properties he managed. Rent money went missing. Receipts could not be produced. Excuses became routine. Lori stepped in to protect her mother. She worked with Wanda and her sister Diane to bring in a property management company to handle the rentals and remove Chip from financial control. An agreement was signed in April of 2017. Chip was informed he no longer had authority. Tensions escalated quickly, especially after a property sale resulted in $15,000 being placed into Wanda's account. Chip demanded the money and made threats when he was refused. Then, on the morning of August 1st, 2017, Lori left her home to pick up her mother so they could handle property paperwork together. On the way, Lori called Wanda 9 times. None were answered. Lori had no way of knowing that earlier that morning, Chip had his wife pick Wanda up to go to the family attorney's office. A property was sold, and Chip received a check for $15,000. The rest of the family was unaware. Lori eventually arrived at Wanda's house in her white Nissan SUV, a vehicle she was incredibly proud of. Security footage shows Lori pulling into the long gravel driveway around noon. She stayed for just over 30 minutes and then left, driving in the direction of Chip's home a few houses away. About 30 minutes later, Lori's SUV briefly appears again on the cameras, but instead of using the driveway, the vehicle is driven through the grass and behind a barn, a path that avoids the cameras entirely. The family says only a handful of people knew where those cameras were and how to avoid them. Lori is never seen again. Later that evening, concern grows. Her fiancé reports her missing. Her daughter contacts police. The next morning, Lori's ex-husband goes to the family property to look for her. Behind the barn, Lori's SUV is found parked in a trash and burn area, a strange place for someone who had just washed her car and took pride in it. Following freshly cut grass toward a pond, Lori is found seated on a tractor with her head and shoulders submerged in the water. Police quickly rule her death a farm accident, but her family immediately disagrees. Lori was a heavy equipment operator for decades. Experts and coworkers say there is no logical way she accidentally drove that tractor into the pond. Surveillance footage is reviewed again and again. Forensic engineers later confirm the tractor was in proper working order. Months later, the coroner reverses the ruling. Lori was unalived before entering the water. There was no water in her lungs. Injuries to her head and face were inconsistent with an accident. Lori Lynn's death was officially ruled a homicide. After that ruling, cooperation stopped. A polygraph test was refused. Silence followed. Lori's family believes someone knows what happened and is afraid to speak up. A reward remains in place, and her loved ones continue to wait for justice. Cases like Ashley, Brittany, and Lori matter. 3 different women, 3 different stories, but all 3 deserve answers, and all 3 deserve justice. If you care about bringing awareness to unsolved cases like these, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Doing that helps these stories reach more people. If you have a case or a missing person you would like me to talk about, you can email me at acloserlook148@gmail.com. You can also follow me on TikTok at a second look 360. And as always, giving victims the voice they deserve.